Hello everyone, my name is Sasha and I am a high school graduate. Successfully went through the IB diploma program. I could have easily not done it, but I thought to myself, you know what, you're gonna benefit from this program, you're gonna be smart coming out of this, but I'm still dumb. Today I will be taking you through my progress of my IB theater solo performance journey. I thought I'd just be the narrator. Sorry. I grew up with narrator, but now I'm saying narrator. I'm just going to be explaining to you the gist of the theater solo performance that I had to do for school. Sorry, the video just froze and I was just like, obviously this is only applicable to students who choose the higher level path. If you're a standard level student, all you need to do is just not the solo performance. Since, COVID happened, the collab project was taken out. Thank the Lord. I hate people. You're not just performing or, making your own whatever the hell you want. One of the two important things that people tend to miss out is you have to write an essay alongside this project, a 2,000 or 3,000 word essay. Whole journey of making this project, and of course this comes with the sources sheet, in MLA8 format, and dates accessed smacked on right next to it. And the last one, which I think is one of the most important aspects because it's basically the whole gist of this project, is your theater practitioner. Each student has to choose a theater theorist to base their work off from, which will help them create their final piece, which will be performed. This may not make sense because at first I had no idea what I was gonna do. Robert Lepage, it's the only theater theorist I can think of. Robert Lepage, am I saying that right? Sorry. Is he dead or alive? I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Robert Lepage focuses on the art of multimedia in theater, so a couple of the performances that I've seen from last year's batch implementing the art of projection into their theater pieces. Wow, that was a deep, big breath. For me, I chose, oh god, I'm gonna butcher his name again. I'm so sorry. He passed away a good while ago, so please don't curse me. His name, I'm gonna quickly Google it. I keep saying his last name. Last name's Cantor. I don't want to say the first name. I'm gonna attempt to say the first name because I'm gonna use Miss Google right here and see if I can pull it off. The specific aspect that I took from Cantor's work is the theater of death, and it's also implementing the use of puppets into his works. Thaddeus Cantor. I can't say that. One of the most important things is establishing your theorist and taking an aspect that said theorist focuses on and somehow blending that into your work, which, and maybe taking their approaches into making theater. It's an important part because you're gonna have to really expand on that in the essay portion of your project. I'm gonna take you through a little journey of the different concepts of stories. My teacher was just like, okay, give me your ideas. What stories do you want to tell? And I was just like, divorce. I didn't know how I got to Alice in Wonderland. Hopefully my mic's not like I'm trying to make this video so inspirational, so high quality when clearly I'm just filming on my webcam, but oh god, it's 17%. I need to charge this real quick. Intermission. Cantor was born in 1915 to a Catholic family from Krakow, and he was mostly known as the creator of happenings. Not only was he a theater director, but a writer, actor in his own work, an artist, and a lecturer at the Academy of Fine Arts in Krakow. After the war, Cantor regularly designed abstract-looking sets and further improved his artistic approach to painting through a venture to Paris in 1947. Cantor was influenced by constructivism, Dada, informal art, and surrealism. Being born in the midst of the First World War meant that Cantor lived through 4 turbulent periods in Poland's history, all of which influence his attitudes, his ideas, and his performance practice to such an extent that it is impossible to understand any of his key performances without being aware of the historical events that shaped them. Time, death, transcendence, memory, and the history inscribed in memory are constant themes in Cantor's work. Importantly, he was concerned in the nature of fiction and reality, which correlates to how he wanted his theater to be able to touch the lives of his audiences and bring a new kind of reality to them.
Cantor shares his creative process of how it is similar to an artist building up a composition on a canvas, where any text he may use is but one element of the whole picture. Cantor, in his collaborative process, searches for a new form and content of expression, always on the imperative of spontaneity. The manifesto, called The Theater of Death, established his eagerness to withdraw from a universe where theater was fully grounded in physical reality, and instead it embraced an instant double of the self, the other, or the unthought, as a new subject constituted by the mental gaze of the self. I know. This approach required the self to travel through space in unknown directions. The space of the past, which existed dead in memory, gave a rare chance for exploring this different dimension. Cantor's aim to meddle with the concept of time further explains his stance on how there can be no steady flow of action in a presentation of memories because memories existed only as transparent negatives of old photographs stored somewhere in the mind's scrapbook. Cantor was not interested in the nostalgic reconstruction of memory, but in exploring the consequences of interplay between the self and the other in the mirror of memory. The mannequin in my theater must become a model through which pass a strong sense of death and the conditions of the dead, a model for the live actor. Make sense of the motives and purpose of that unusual object. Cantor stresses the meaning of the relationship between the spectator and the actor where, although the condition of the performers would appear to be dead, the setting of the performance in which they sit in is full of living memory. And to think I somehow took all of that and made it into, well, this.
The process of me translating from novel/extract to script usually starts, this is how I do all of my annotating work in general. It always starts off with my highlighter and of course the extract itself. In this part of the process, I don't highlight or focus on dialogue. I focus on just little things. Doesn't have to be big moments. I'm really looking to find are things that might translate to be something of a visual aspect in theater terms. Let me elaborate. Always trying to find things to show. You need to show, not tell. And yes, there is dialogue. Yes, you're going to be verbally in the story, telling the story, but it's important, so important, to play with the audience's senses. I want to make sure for my show specifically that all those senses, are unlocked throughout the show somehow. They don't have to be big, but I need to play with them. I need to go this extra mile to be able to really poke those little tingly senses. When I'm reading throughout this extract, sometimes music plays in my head. That to me is something. I don't know what it is maybe in that certain moment, but it's something. So I need to make sure that every single idea that pops into my head, whether that will be used or will not be used, I need to make sure that I make a note of it. Because the thing that's so frustrating, I'm using my hands a lot, but the thing that's so frustrating is when you're in the middle of the process and you're trying to think of something or trying to work with an idea and it's not working or etc. and you remember, God, I remember in the beginning I thought of something that felt really, that I think resonates well with A or B, and then you forget because you don't make a note of it. That's the thing that I want to avoid, and of course inevitably I still do it because, well, I'm human. Another really huge advantage to the very early stages of your creative process as well is to get to know the space you're going to be performing at. This is going to change your life, as for me it sort of gives me a very rough image of my blocking, brain vomiting onto your page. You're limitless, so of course you're free to be as ambitious as you like, but if you know your space already, you're sort of setting yourself this little, ooh, wow, that was very natural. You really know your space, you sort of know when to stop in terms of your ambition level. When you're visiting the theater space, measure it using a, I don't know the English for this, a mataran. You can count how many steps, length times width-wise, how tall the ceilings are. Maybe also get to know basics of how much lighting technology is available to you, if you can install more than one projector. the speakers, where they can be placed, get to know the logistics of the place. And I used to be someone who's like, you know what, fuck the logistics, we'll think about that later. I just want to be all creative and artsy and make sure I'm like writing the story, pulling off my Joe March type of grind. Work on your logistics, it's gonna save your life. As you can see in this part of the video, starting to type up the actual script. Really, writing the script was a lot harder than I thought. Just as a spoiler, I did end up really taking the story into a really dark turn. Since the beginning, I always knew, again, like I wanted to do the Mad Tea Party, but I just didn't know how to end it, because the way the Mad Tea Party ended in the novel is just, it's not something worth, I'm not saying it's bad, but the fact that I only have 8 minutes to really pull this shit off, I need to make sure that this ending smacks. So a really helpful way for me to resolve this issue was to use the method of Freytag's pyramid, and this is just like how teachers would teach in English class. It's the whole beginning, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. So I really dug myself deep into a hole and like made myself do this chart. I had to, I think you can see in the video before of like me constantly going back and forth into that pyramid, because I had to make sure that each stage of that pyramid had I wasn't just doing it for the sake of doing it. Tensions are so important. The thing that I'm doing, for example, because I'm playing the Hatter, the reason why I'm saying this, there needs to be a reason for that. The reason why I'm, for example, slapping one of the mannequins' heads, there needs to be a reason why I'm doing it. I really had to delve deep into my character, and since the Mad Hatter is not, you know, a main character, I had to sort of take things from other stories or things in my life that I wanted to showcase. I really wanted to make this character good. I really wanted to make this character deep. I wanted the audience to make sure that this is a Mad Hatter you don't know yet unless you see this show. Yeah. I was given the opportunity to come into school socially distanced, wearing masks, COVID safe. I had to come in with a COVID test every time I had to come into school. But I was given the opportunity to come into school and just work in the theater for a whole day, which means I get to miss classes. I chose the worst days. I literally chose when I had double, oh no, I'm scared of saying it now because I don't want teachers to watch and be like, excuse me. I went into this show with a lot of expectations in terms of like, I'm gonna work so hard. I was not attentive at all. I had no schedule. I just worked with what I could when I came into school, but it worked. So you see me painting the different mannequins. Obviously I had to make them different somehow to one another. I just thought of, oh, red equals the Darth Maul, so gotta put on some tattoos on his everything. Well, of course, just the body and the face, because there were no legs.
Hello guys, I'm sorry for the very ratchet quality, but I'm here in school. It's been a few hours and I've just been painting the damn mannequins. It's been going fine, but it's just like, they look pretty ugly. I'm gonna be layering costumes on them. They've all got their distinct I'm looking at myself. Hello. They've all got distinct personalities. I'm very tired, it's very hot in here. Totally regret wearing a sweater, but I'm gonna fill up my water bottle because I'm very thirsty.
I also, luckily I asked if I could get specific chairs made so that it looked really grand and big. You'll see pictures. I decided to integrate the element of projection work into my piece, purposely for the part where, you know, because I want food to magically, the tea party stuff to magically appear on the table as if I'm creating magic. The table's there, right? I'm basically going to have a projector project downwards onto said table so that the food will magically appear one by one, and I'm gonna deal with this annoying shit way later on. It's so hard to deal with, it's so hard to control because I had to use an app that I've never used before, but that's basically the gist of why I implemented the aspect of projections. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. However, very important advice for all of you future theater students. In the beginning, you're supposed to pick a practitioner, not practitioners, but a practitioner, and make sure you really make the most out of that specific person's, I guess, perspective and their point of view in theater. Just because I did projections won't make my grade any better just because the show looks cooler or is more technically advanced. My practitioner is still Cantor, and my practitioner still focuses on the theater of death, and projections have no correlation to that whatsoever. So it's okay to be ambitious and do whatever you want, but still just remember, you're a practitioner. Yeah. I just choked. Stick to your theory. Still make that the strongest element in your piece, because that's what you're going to be talking about in your essay.
Hello guys, it's very quiet in here, but I might as well show you my costumes. These are just some of the ones that I'm planning on using for the boys, for the girls. It's very cute. So the costumes that I decided to put on the mannequins are also something of an extra mile. Obviously, they didn't need to be so perfect. I really made sure that I chose costumes that had a wide range of colors, because again, my goal for this set in general, the whole ambiance, the look of, the first time the audience comes in, I want them to be amazed at the different colors and objects that they're seeing. I want them not to be focused on one thing, but to be focused on a variety of things. So you can see me setting up the table right here, and of course it looks boring because without the technical aspects of this production, this show is nothing. So I was extremely lazy for this whole process. Something that I've learned along the way is to just do something that doesn't make sense, but I realized how many ideas that I accidentally stumbled upon if I just experimented different things. For example, I had a hard time establishing specifically what each character, how each character is in terms of their personas and etc. And the more I experimented with their looks, with different voices, thinking of different characters that I've always liked in the stories that I've read so far in my life, it really helped me, take little things here and there from all aspects of life and the things that I've seen and observed so far, and implement that to my characters and the story in general. So one thing that also made this show really, really special to me is the fact that despite this being a solo performance, I actually still got to include a lot of my friends who don't even do theater in general in this show. So I obviously needed different kinds of voices for the different mannequins that will be quote-unquote talking to me throughout the performance, even though they're just pre-recorded sounds. So I asked around a lot of different people. I got few yeses, few no's, but thankfully I got to fill in each mannequin with their own distinct voice, and it was so fun getting to virtually direct different people on how their voice should be, maybe a certain reaction that I kind of want from them. And this certain approach, playing around with different theatrical elements made me realize that, wow, I can become an even better, I guess, actress because of these different elements that activate a certain something in me. I don't know, it's a thing I've experienced, and it's really good for me. So we are slowly approaching D-Day, or I guess the 2 weeks of tech rehearsals where I could come into school every day to work on this shit. I was panicking. I'm not calm at all. Again, I was lazy, so I basically left so many things to the last minute, even the cue sheet. And the cue sheet is, I have no words for it. It's so goddamn important because it's just your whole, because again, my show is very tech heavy. So when it's tech heavy, your cue sheet needs to be on point, because if it's not, then I'm gonna be stressed as fuck in rehearsals, especially tech rehearsals, when your teacher is right there watching you, expecting that you've already memorized all your lines when I actually didn't, and I ended up just bullshitting everything on the spot, and the teacher was just like, did you memorize your lines? And I was like, no. But in all seriousness, the 2 weeks
up to D-Day. It was just me adding some extra decorations such as the lanterns that you've seen on screen, I hope. Collecting the music that I want to use as, I guess, it's not sound design, or it is. No, it's not. Sound design is a lot of the SFX that I implemented, which was like the clocks and stuff. It was pretty sick, actually. But the music that I used is just music that I've always wanted to use in a show, like any type of show. So it was really enjoying. It was really a fun experience for me to just collect all the music that I've wanted to perform with, that I've wanted to feel with as I'm performing. Actually really, really fun. I really enjoyed it, and just listening to the music and all, like, connecting that somehow to the vibe of my story and my character just really made me feel way more motivated to do this thing and to finish this thing and to actually attempt to pull this off. And in all honesty, the music helped me so much in the performance. Like, it was honestly the only thing that really made me dig a deep hole in myself and just be fucking insane on stage, man. So now I'm gonna talk about the shitty, well, it's not shitty, it's actually quite a pretty cool app. I just call it shitty because I just had a really bad time with it. QLab. It's an app that allows you to mesh or mix all of like the performance aspects into one. So I'm just gonna elaborate. It's sort of like you press play on an app, or you press play on iMovie or Final Cut. It automatically plays everything in the timeline, right? But for this, you can play videos, pictures, music, and projections. Well, videos, projections, same thing, because you just need to connect it to the projector. So I had to combine all of the shit I had into that one timeline app thing in QLab and make sure everything's in perfect order, in the perfect time, exact time that I want to say this or that, exact time that I'm going to move there. And this is not connected to lighting, so I also had to worry about lighting. Don't do that to yourself. One of the big roadblock that I've been trying to get over since the beginning is finding out what the hell I'm going to do with this ending. So of course I think I said somewhere in the beginning that it's the descent into madness type of story, because that's a pretty generic story. I wanted it to be different, but it was actually, I really liked that I took that decision. But anyways, I actually asked my teacher for some advice in regards to just what in the world I can do for the ending, because originally I had a couple of ideas in mind that I told him to, like, I literally shoved it into his face. I'm so sorry. Cool teacher. What's up? I literally shoved it into his face saying, please read the different stuff that I have and then choose which one you'd like. And honestly, I wasn't proud at all of those three, I think, that the three different endings that I had. I still wanted it to be really cool and epic visually, but at the same time, it's a much more open-ended ending. I'm just ending twice, but I love the concept of the whole open interpretation sort of thing for stories in general, so I think this is a great opportunity for me to implement that somehow. The ending is no dialogue at all, and I love that. It's so nice, just no dialogue, and then taking advantage of the music and all the visual technical aspects is just love people's react, because again, I'm literally performing so close, I'm literally right in front of their faces, and to see the different reactions as I'm performing is, I wanted to laugh but I couldn't. This is also more footage of me really going the extra mile. So I bought like a few decks of cards and scattered them by like glue tacking them all around the set, and it really did spazz up the whole look of everything. I'd like to thank Johnny Depp and Pinterest for inspiring this bomb-ass look. I know. I actually really dig this look. I wish I could just live life like this every single day. And I also used a lot of YouTube tutorials for like DIY Mad Hatter inspired outfits, and very, very helpful, so I'll link them down below. I also would like to nominate the hat for being one of the most uncomfortable hats that I've ever worn in my entire fucking life.
a big fuck you to that hat. I also never ended up wearing shoes in the performance because it would make so much sound, so I just went, well, low-key barefoot. Well, I had socks on, so not naked, you know? Also, an audience feedback or comment that I get is just how helpful the eyes were. I mean, the contact lens. I've never worn contact lenses in my life ever before, so experimenting and playing around with them for this performance really also made me way more comfortable in being so crazy on stage and just doing things that I would never thought I'd do. The whole staring thing and just being really creepy, just it's so fun doing that to people. So the audience basically walks into what you're seeing right now, and I love it. And there's also creepy carnival music playing in the background, which I really dig. So wishing a break a leg to myself ish, because it's July now, but yeah.
So that brings us to the end of the journey of the Mad Ones, a solo performance. But that's it. Unfortunately, I wish this could go on. Well, not really, but I do miss the adrenaline. I miss the pressure. Oh god, I don't know. I find so much joy in doing this. That's so fucking cheesy. It's disgusting. I'm so happy that this got to be my last show that I did. You know, it was made for me, by me. Sorry, that's a little bit of a Ladybird reference, and I wish I could do this for the rest of my life and just get paid as well, you know? I hope you enjoyed this really badly produced video. I hope the audio was okay. I hope it makes up for the camera quality. I actually kind of dig the whole webcam style. Makes me feel kind of... That's it. I hope you enjoyed that video. Give it a huge thumbs up. I hope my teachers do see this though. Hi! How are you? Do you miss me? But yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. I don't know what else to say. I just say bye, so bye.